Hello YouTubers. Well, it's Sunday, May 28th, 2023. Unfortunately, Memorial Day weekend, and I'm on a turkey hunt. I'm going on a turkey hunt. I try to tag out before Memorial Day weekend because there's so many people in the woods for Memorial weekend. It's hard to find a place where there's less people than turkeys. But I'm going to go out and try. I got one turkey left to tag out on. So we'll see how it goes. Getting started late, but that's alright. I started early last couple times. It didn't seem to make much of a difference, so we'll see. Well, I got up here at just before 8:30 a.m. Kind of late, but not bad. Still plenty of time to get a turkey. Killed turkey at all different times of day. About the only time I really haven't shot a turkey is between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. I think that's about the only time that I haven't gotten a shooting opportunity. The rest of the day, before and after, yeah. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. That's a deer. That's a good sign. At least I'm seeing something. distance, those newly planted trees. Almost looks like tombstones, like a cemetery, which is kind of what it is for the trees they cut down, in a manner of speaking. This is where I got busted by 2 turkeys about 2 times ago when I came through here. I thought I heard a gobble. I thought I heard a distant gobble. That way. So that's the way I'm gonna go. It was really far off. Well, I got him. I got him. Okay, I got him. Poor visibility, but I got him. There was more than one. I just saw one run. Alright. Alright. Let's go get him. As I say to my dog, go get him. Oh, he was pretty close. Yeah, he was closer than I thought. I thought that he was clear up there at the turn. Man, he just come right in. I'm glad I hurried. Well, let's see what I got. He stuck his head up high enough. It looks like a Jake. That's okay. Oh, you still alive? I thought you were dead. Sorry. Okay, well, at least I'm not running off like that one guy's YouTube video. When a turkey gets up and runs away. Okay. Old lead loads I can't use for waterfowl anymore, but they sure as hell work good for turkeys. I don't know if the other bird was bigger or not. I have no idea. I just seen it dart off that way. This one was sticking his head up. Oh yeah, there's dropping right there. He's probably just been on this road. And I was right behind him. Fortunately, I didn't run up on him where he could see me. That would have sucked. Well, I got the third turkey, so I'm finished with my turkey season. It's always the sad part of it, but that's okay. Yeah, let's take a look at the fan. Yeah, it's a young fan, but it's almost rounded. Just not quite. So, but little beard about 4 or 5 inches long, maybe. Small spurs. And he's been strutting. He ground his wing feathers down. Yep. Little badass Jake. Well, go in there and see if I can retrieve my empty shell. If I want to walk through there again. Sheesh. Man, I'm glad I didn't waste any time getting hidden. And they would just come up right around the corner quick. I barely got in there when he was here. So I got up there, I was gonna sit at the base of that fir tree over there, but I didn't realize there was branches all the way to the ground. So it was not suitable. But yeah. And perhaps if I waited, there might have been a bigger one come around the corner. But when you get to where you're crunching the numbers at the end of the season, you don't have much time left. The way I look at it, any shootable turkey is fair game in my book. Young, old, bearded hen, it's still a turkey. And it'll be good table fare because it's not too awfully old. Okay, well, I couldn't retrieve my shell. I couldn't find it in that mess, so who knows. But I'm ranging, standing, right here. Here's where the turkey fell. Okay. So I range it to the road at the bottom of the curve, 32 yards. It was probably less than that. Let's see, that tree right there is 25 yards. It was probably around 30 yards. That's a good shooting distance. Nice tight pattern. Of course, this gun has a deceptively tight pattern. I mean, it doesn't have a turkey choke in it, but with the standard full choke, it's got a really tight pattern. It does. So he must have been just down that way a little bit, either on the road or in the little meadow there. When I first come up to the corner and heard him, see, he sounded like he was down there, but he didn't waste time getting here, man. Okay, so the last time I was here, not a single gobble anywhere. No gobble at all. Nothing. All I saw was one hen turkey. And so I gave up on this spot temporarily, and I went over to Camila area, and I didn't see anything there at all. So I decided to come back here because I know there's turkeys that go through here. And of course, I was highly concerned about all the people in here. There were lots of horseshoe tracks, so definitely horseback riders. I have to watch out for them. Don't want to shoot anybody. Plus, I don't want them scaring the turkeys off. And then there's vehicle tracks as well. So landowners have visitors that come in. So there's nothing I can do about that. I feel privileged to be able to hunt on their land. So I have no problem with that. But didn't see anybody, and so I didn't run into any people, which is good. And the turkeys were back. Turkeys are just being turkeys. I mean, the other day I almost thought, because of all the human activity in here, that maybe they just left the area for a few weeks, but no, they came back. You just never know. They can cover 12, 15 miles in a day. I mean, they're always on their legs all the time. So you never know where they're going to be for sure. They do tend to have temporary habits where they go through an area for a while, but it changes. And when they come in here and cut trees, that shifts them to a different spot. A bunch of human activity can push them out, but they'll come back. Which explains why you see them like in parks and stuff where people are. They'll show up. Anyway, I'll have to see how much it weighs. I'm just curious now. And then I got to tag it so no one swoops in here and tries to tag it and claim it's theirs. And why not? I'll make sure that it's tagged. No one comes here and tries to claim it's their turkey. That's the thing about it. Whoever puts the tag on it can claim it, no matter who put in the work to get it. So, that being the case, I'm going to get it tagged. These tags are silly. Printed on regular paper. Oh, that's my portfolio. That's the whole hunting license. This one is last year's hunting license, so the tag's got to be on the other side. parking permit. There's got to be a tag right here. There it is. Okay. Harvest date and time. You can tag them with your phone by taking pictures, but I can't get a signal in a lot of this area, so that's why I haven't chose to do it that way. And it is now 9:27, so I shot at about 9:20 approximately. That's within the top killing time of turkeys, between 8 and 10 in the morning, when I understand it's when most of them are killed. So this is the 28th. Or 28, 23, and management unit 49, which is the Ukiah unit. When they first stocking turkeys here, they opened the season up in 1985 or something like that, and there was only 2 units that were worth hunting. This was one of them, Ukiah, and I think the other one, I'm not sure where the other one was, Western Oregon maybe. But this was the only one that was over here in this area that really was worth hunting. And it still proves good. They've flourished here. Now I gotta sign it. Now I can go fishing. The river looks good for fishing. It does. The water's down to a good level. It's pretty clear. There we go. So if you ever decide you want to give up on an area because you haven't seen any, not so fast. Don't always give up, because they'll come back. Even on Memorial Day weekend. I thought I might have to. Fortunately, this year, the hunting season goes past the weekend, so I thought I might have to come in here and hunt after the weekend, after Memorial Day weekend, but I don't have to now. I got my bird. So. Put it on here. I'm using zip ties now. I used to use hair ties to keep them on, but now I'm using zip ties. And as much as the head and neck were bleeding, I'm sure that's where I'm hitting. That's where I aimed. That's one thing I do like about the Ithaca Mag 10. It hits where I point it. So, I mean, I love my Browning BPS, but that thing does not hit where I point it. I have to try to compensate for it. It's very annoying at times. Oh. Where's my shears at? Cut that thing off. I need this anyway for weighing it. And what I did with my damn cutters. I know they're in here. I wonder if I could lose a person in here. I mean, I lost a lot of stuff in here and then resurfaced. There we are. And I don't leave it here. Pick up my litter. Except the shell, I couldn't find it. Okay, let's see what this thing weighs. It's not a lot. I can maybe 13 pounds, 14 pounds if I'm lucky. Well, it may only be 12 pounds. I don't know. We'll see. Get this thing. Sorry about that, viewers. this thing centered. I have a nice digital scale that's more accurate, but this thing, it gives me a lot of grief. The battery runs dead easily, and it's always giving me crap. So, this scale, though it's not as accurate, it's more reliable. Okay, I've got 10, 12, 10, 11, 12. That was about 12.5 pounds. So, it's not too big. Like I said before, it'll be a good eating bird, no doubt. So, nice and tender. You always see these birds after they're shot flapping around and stuff, you know. And I mean, they'll get hit in the head and they'll still flap around. And I mean, if it was a human being, I don't think they'd flap around. I think they'd be dead. Pretty sure. But, you know, it's like the old chicken with his head cut off thing. I bet I can get it in the bag. Yep. Should be able to. And I put that bigger one in. So I know this cute little Jake. I'm not ashamed at all about taking a young bird. I know there's actually some states that don't even allow it. I think Georgia might be one of them. It says no jakes. But the jakes it's kind of good, especially for a first-time hunter. You get someone out here who hasn't hunted turkeys before, because the jakes are usually not as wise as the older birds. So they'll come in on a string a lot of times, like this one. I was hidden pretty good in there. I mean, you can tell. Look in there. It's hard to see in there. A lot of limbs to shoot in between, but if I would have made some wild movements in there, it probably would have seen me. But as long as I moved fairly slow, they didn't really notice me. I was looking for a hen along the road here, so. The sad thing about it is, the great thing is, I finished out my turkey season, I tagged out. The sad thing is, I finished out my turkey season, I tagged out. That's the thing, it's bittersweet. Yeah, I'll probably sit here for a few minutes and just enjoy this area. I like being out in the outdoors. It's my drug of choice, so to speak. It's my vice, I guess. I love being in the outdoors. And who cannot like this? Maybe some city slicker who is accustomed to the city and is afraid of the unknown. I don't know. I was thinking about that other bird that ran off. There's a chance it was a smaller Jake or even a hen. I couldn't tell for sure. I just seen a turkey run off. As I think if it would have been, it was definitely not the dominant bird. This was the dominant bird, sticking its head up and everything, gobbling loud. So, seriously doubt it had a bigger gobbler with it. When it comes to gobblers, size matters. And who can be the biggest badass. One time I shot a Jake that was barely 12 pounds. I had to search to find the beard under the feathers. But it was Mr. Billy Badass. It had 2 hens with it, and it gobbled loud and long, just like a big gobbler would. And its wings were all ground down from strutting. So, you know, I mean, in its mind, it was the big badass of the area. It's really beautiful here. I like it. It remains beautiful as long as I don't see a bunch of people. I don't have anything against people. I'm disappointed with bad things they do to each other, but I like people also. But I like having alone time, alone in the wilderness. That's a lot of what the turkey hunting is about, to me. My time out in the wilderness. I'm glad I could tag out. I mean, last I checked here in Oregon, about a third of the hunters managed to get a turkey. That means 2/3 don't. Either they're doing something wrong or they're not hunting in areas that have a lot of turkeys. I think more than likely it's probably bad habits and a lack of patience more than anything. And you have to be willing to put in the time and put in the patience and sometimes possibly sit for long periods. I know some hunters get impatient. They just gonna drive down road after road, see if we see something. Well, they're here, turkeys hear them coming, and if they've been shot at already, they're gonna be skittish. So it helps to be quiet. The electric bike helps. I can get pretty close to them without spooking them with that. If it was a gasoline-powered bike, it'd be damn noisy. It'd scare everything off. And always remember, even though the hens are no more hormonal now that they have nest, the males definitely still are. So they're looking for hens that are willing. So they're going to the bars looking for action, so to speak. So they're looking for a female, and a lot of the females they're not interested anymore. But so when they hear one interested, he gets their attention. Probably one of the reasons it usually gets better later in the season. Plus, you have other factors. The weather gets better. This place had deep snow when I first come here during the season. Now there's no snow. I think I liked it when there was enough snow to where you could find their tracks easily, but not so much snow to where it was hard to get around in. You know, maybe big patches where you could kind of bottleneck them. Because, you know, of course, they don't always avoid the snow. I've seen where they just go right through deep snow to get somewhere. But I know a lot of people say, oh, they'll be at the snow line. Well, I was up here when there was deep snow, and there were turkeys up here in the deep snow. So there may have been more at the snow line, but the snow line at that time, unfortunately, was on the reservation, and I'm not a member of the reservation, so I can't hunt there. They used to allow non-members up till 2013 was the last year they let non-members hunt. And I remember I got a 20-pound turkey on the reservation that year. There was a lot of turkeys on the reservation. If I could find some way to become a member of the reservation, I would. If not for nothing else, for that. But I don't have enough Native American in me, I don't think. There's no documented history. My relatives weren't good at record keeping. I know I am part Cheyenne, which is not this area, but I can register here. I mean, they are looking for members, but I don't have enough Cheyenne in me to count, really. It's got to be at least 1/16, I think, and I think I'm below that. So it's kind of a bummer that way. They had different rules too. If you're a member of the reservation, you can hunt turkeys. Last time I looked at their rules, you could hunt turkeys year-round, 365. Limit was 1 per day. They know that. They're that liberal with the limit because they know that there's not that many people hunting all year up here. I used to bowl with a guy that was a member of the reservation, and he'd go out, but he went out during the turkey season. You know, so now once in a while they might get a wild hare to go out during the off season and get one, but during the off season they're a whole different animal. Once they're less hormonal, they change, and then the fall turkey is completely different. They don't gobble much in fall, and they're in big groups once the weather starts getting cold. So what you look for is big groups. A lot of people will come in and run the big group off, and then they'll sit and camp out and wait and call them back in. Me, I've gotten 2 so far during the fall season, and both of those were from walking up on the group of turkeys. I just walked up on them, and they were within shooting distance, and I shot them. So, and you can use dogs here in Oregon during the fall season, but you cannot during the spring season. I think that's a good rule because, you know, they have nests. You don't want dogs going in and messing with the hen's nest, trying to grab a hen that's sitting on the nest or taking the eggs. You definitely don't want that. I want these birds to have as many babies as possible, so it makes my job hunting easier. Well, here we are in the same mess. I'm in the same mess I was in a couple weeks ago. Flat tire. It was fine when I come in here. I parked it down here and it became flat. I have no idea why. I don't know what I ran over. This time I brought a tube and a pump, so I can fix it right here. I also have the tire levers to fix it with, so I can repair it right here before I go anywhere. But that really annoys the heck out of me. I don't know. I have no idea what poked a hole in the tube. I would just air it up, but it's probably a big enough hole. I might try that first, but it's probably a big enough hole that it's not going to last. But it would be easier just to air it up than taking the thing off the bike and fixing it. So I'll try that first. Oh, and by the way, that is a slime self-sealing tube. Yeah, I'm not too impressed. Come on, slime. Really? Not impressed at all. I don't see any big thorns here. No big pieces of glass. I know I didn't shoot my tire because the bike was parked here and the turkey was up there. I mean, yeah, there's lead flyers, but they don't fly that far off course. You know, it's going to be one of these wild, maybe a wild rose plant or something else. Maybe there was a sharp thorn on one of these branches laying here. I don't know. It really burns my butt though. Yeah, I was sitting here and I aired it up. I thought, great, you know, and then all of a sudden it goes, and there's slime everywhere inside. So it's like the tube split or something. I don't know, I'll try airing it again. But it looks like I'm gonna have to probably take the stupid wheel off. You can hear it. I can't get it to seal. If I get it to seal, it'd be okay. Nah, it's not even airing up now. So, off she goes. I'll have to, you know, unless I want to walk it out of here like I did last time, which I did not enjoy at all. I'm just gonna have to take the wheel off, and change the tire. Darn it. Find out what the heck poked a hole in it. Wonder if one of my spokes, but I don't see anything. But it sounds like it's leaking right up in here. So, up there somewhere. I guess I'm going to sit here and eat a sandwich and relax for a few minutes before I repair this tire. So, it really annoys me. Yeah, the other time I had the flat, I went, I've been in here a couple of seasons, not a single flat ever, no matter where I rode the bike, not a single flat. And the front has never gone flat. So I don't know what the difference is. Maybe there's something flaky with this tire. But now I get two flats within a couple weeks of each other. That's a little odd to me, because I ran over everything before. I'd just take it across bushes and whatever, and never had a flat. So it's mighty suspicious to me. So I'm going to sit here and enjoy a sandwich and contemplate my repair job that I got to do, so I can get out of here without having to walk it, without having to push it. With the electrical stuff on here, it's 65 pounds worth of bike. And going up hills, you know you're going up hills. Well, I got my tire fixed. I didn't put quite as much air in it as I had been carrying, and I'm hoping that it won't go flat as easy. I'm going to ride up this road just a little bit just to take a look, see if I can see droppings and so on, where those turkeys were, see if I can figure it out. And then I'm going to head back. So, let's see. Decided to put my gun in the gun wrap. So I don't have to carry it on my shoulder. Oh, for all I know, it could be a sharp rock that poked a hole in it, but I didn't see any holes in the tire. Oh, yeah, it ain't gonna go in that gear. Shoot, I got get it in a real super high gear. Yeah, I don't need to go that fast. There we go. Back into low again. No wonder it wouldn't pull me up the hill. Alright. Yeah, okay. Well, let's take a look. What's that? Predator poop. A lot of hair in it. Yep. Wasn't here the last time. It's mostly hair. Wow. Hey, you mountain lions have hairballs. No, yeah. Anyway, I don't know if they were down the road here or if they were in there. Kind of curious to know. And then I'll be heading back. I don't see any more droppings. I think they were. To me, it sounded like they were down that way, but sound can be deceiving. So, oh, there's a dropping there, but that's like a hen dropping. It's not very big. Okay, get out of here. And I'm gonna get a different tire. I think this had two flats on this tire in a short period of time. I think it's no coincidence. I really don't. If I get a flat now, I'll have to walk it out, so I gotta be careful. But there's fresh dropping right there from one of them. Don't know if that was when they came to check me out or if that was before. It was dropping down here that was further down the road than I shot the bird, so apparently they had been on this road before. And I think they were heading the opposite way. But they heard me and come running. I don't know where that dropping went now. Oh, is that it right there? Yeah, there it is right there. Big old dropping. It looked green earlier. It's weird how it's changing. I came back to see what the hen was, what the hen call is about. Let's see. It was. I blasted it. It was right up here, right there. That's where I was standing, right here. Yep. Yeah, he couldn't really see me in there. So when you're hunting turkeys, take advantage of shadows, shade, and stuff like that. It helps me immensely. Even though I have a leaf suit, if I was out in broad daylight, they'd spot me so much easier. It really helps to get in an area that's kind of dark anyway. It's a lot harder for them to see. It gives you a big advantage. And then you can make small movements without them noticing. If you're out in the open, I have shot one out in the open because I had nowhere to hide one time. So I just sat in the middle of the road in a ghillie suit and waited. But if I had been, you can't hardly move if you're out in the open because they'll see it. But what you need is shadows, shade, stuff like that, and a big tree trunk to sit in front of if you're not in the shadows. If you look over there, you can't even hardly see in there at all. It's so dark. So, turkeys have the advantage normally because their eyesight is way better than ours. It's probably the best eyesight out here of anything. So, to level the playing field, you got to work with shadows, shade, and stuff like that. Any kind of camouflage, concealment, whatever. And patience. Can never stress enough patience. I'm going to head back to the truck now because I am finished. The rest of the summer is going to be devoted to fishing and preparing for September goose. Hopefully I won't have another flat. I'll be walking it out if I do. I'm just going to take my time cruising out. There's no reason to go real fast. Don't need to. I'm enjoying the scenery. This is about where I was when I first heard a faint gobble today. Somewhere in here. I can barely hear it. It's one of those deals where it's like, I think it's a turkey. But I have my amplifiers on in my ears. So if I just didn't have any hearing protection, no electronics, I probably wouldn't have heard it. It was so faint. But then when I got further up the road, there was no mistaking it. Well, onward we go. Not frequently used, but you wouldn't want to torch off around right when someone comes around the corner. That would be bad. I'm glad they replanted this clear cut. It's going to help immensely. I don't know why they chose all fir trees, but pines will come in. We got plenty of pine trees around here to drop seeds. So. And it made sense to have a mixed forest. Just for the heck of it, let's see if anything actually answers me in here. I'm just curious to see where they're at. Nothing. Oh, no. Nothing. Of course, it's past 11. Roughly lunchtime. Tempted to go eat at that Meacham Cafe. I bet it's open. I've heard the food's pretty good there. I've never eaten in there. Granddaughter went there. A friend of ours took her there. A friend of ours who's no longer with us, but when he was alive, he took her there. Yeah, steering is a little bit awkward with the gun on the front. But it takes the load off the shoulders. I already got enough stuff on my shoulders to do it. This area has transformed so much since the beginning of the season. I mean, at the beginning of the season, we had thick snow with bear tracks going across. There was a set of tracks right here, and there was a set of tracks further up. And that's one thing about the snow. You can tell which animals were here. You know, there could be a whole bunch of animals go through here, and you can't tell when it's like this. But I hate trying to navigate through the snow. It's hard to walk through and impossible to ride the bike through. So I'm happy the way it is now. It's beautiful. I might come up here and maybe ride the bike on these roads during the summer. Who knows? One thing I don't want to do is I don't want to scare the turkeys for next year. I want them to relax and think they're safe here, so I can hunt them next fall. It's kind of like playing pool, you know. You take a shot to set up the next shot. You don't just take a shot with total disregard for the result. So if I decide to come up here to ride a bike or whatever, I take all that into consideration. You know, am I going to spook the birds? The last thing I want to do is run them out of here and then have to try to find somewhere else to hunt. It's kind of like a little paradise for me here. Plenty of turkeys, not a lot of hunters. What else could you ask for? I mean, really. Could ask for the snow to let up a little earlier. But this year we had one heck of a snowpack. I'd like to hunt turkey up in here, but I hardly ever see them up in here. Usually the only time I see evidence of turkeys is right there when there's still snow on the ground. I'll come up here and I'll find tracks. But during turkey season, you don't usually see them in here. Well, I've heard them gobble over there. And there's a fence over there, so you can't go in past the fence. But this was all forest before. I mean, before they chopped the hell out of it. But and I got a jake one year, just down that way. So sometimes you see deer and elk up in here. So stands to reason turkey might come across here. Actually, they have good sight distance. So actually the disadvantage goes to the hunter up in here. Unless he's really good at staying still. You can sit in those trees. They're smaller than the human body is, but if you didn't move, you might get the shot before they see you. Don't know if we're going to do archery deer. What was that? Looked like scrapes. Yeah, looky here. Well, this looks like evidence of possible turkey activity. Right there. Scraping the ground. I've seen it before where they've been. So, they have been coming across, evidently. Just not when I'm up here. Yeah, and while the turkeys have good visibility here, the hunters do too. I mean, you can see the turkeys coming before they get here. That's good. You just gotta make sure they don't see you. Sometimes that's the hardest part. Well, as 2023 spring gobbler season comes to a close, I like to reflect back on how the season went. First time I come up here, opening day, saw lots of tracks. Felt like it was going to be a good season, and it was. I mean, it took me till near the end of the season to get the last of the 3, but there's been years, a couple years ago I come up here and I couldn't find anything. They had shifted and I never could find where they were at. I couldn't find them. That was the problem I had. So I did real poorly that year, but last year was good and this year was good. First turkey, I think it was the time after opening day when I went in. I think I got it like 40 some minutes into the hunt. I was on my way back there like I was today. And called, got a gobble, got myself situated real quick, and they come right up. And it was a nice jake, a 14-pound jake. And then the second bird required more patience. And there were gobbles. They were answering me, but trying to get them to come in was something different. But finally I did. I used the decoy on the second one. And I didn't use it on the first or the third. And it came in, but I should have put my decoy a little more to the left, because it was strutting, it was drumming, and I couldn't get a clear shot for what seemed like the longest time. I think it ended up being like 25 minutes. So I was sitting there, and finally when I got the shot, I took it. But that one required a lot of patience. It just kept going back and forth. I'm glad it didn't spook. Because if it would have spooked, it would have been gone. I wouldn't have got it. But also, if I'd shifted and tried to make a quick move to try to get it, that would have also ended the hunt. It probably would have ran off and I wouldn't have got it. So, and then this third one, I had to go out a few more times. Used a lot of patience, waited a lot, didn't see anything. And then this last one, it was like the first one. I was on my way in, and like the first one, it was less than an hour into the hunt. And I mean, he answered me from a real far distance at first. You could barely tell. And then the next time he was closer. And I mean, I barely got hidden, and there he was. So, it was a good season. Didn't require very many trips up here, which is nice, but I do enjoy the hunt, even if I don't have results. So that's the sad part, that it's over. Now I'll be fishing and preparing for fall turkey and upland game birds and waterfowl and September goose. So there's always something, you know. Anyway, thanks to my patrons, and thank you for anyone else that watches. I really appreciate the views, and I try to share as much information as I can. So, thank you. Until the next time, happy hunting. I do wish they'd post that map back up there. Some clown took it down, apparently. Didn't like rules. Thing of it is, this is owned by people. I mean, it's private land. It's not national forest, so they can restrict people. We have current property restrictions: no campfires, no wood cutting after 1 p.m., no off-road motorized travel, no fireworks, no smoking. So it used to let everyone drive in here. It didn't matter, you know, you could just drive anything in here, and which was great for getting back there. You could park all the way back there, but the problem was everyone could, and you didn't see as much wildlife most of the time as you do now. When they closed it off, it cut way down on vehicles going in there, and it made, in my opinion, it's way better. Probably a pain in the butt to try to pack large animals out, but I mean, you see a lot more wildlife when it's like that. See, it's closed to motor vehicles 3 days prior to archery, deer, and elk season through spring bear and turkey seasons. So after the end of this month, which is almost here, then I'll be able to drive in there, which is fine by me. If I do decide to do archery deer, I'll go in there and hunt. If I get a deer, I'll just take a deer drag back there with me and pull it out using my electric bike. It's totally doable. By the way, I know there's someone going, wait a minute, it says motor vehicles, this bike has a motor on it. It does have a motor on it, but it's electric. And in Oregon, a Class 2 electric bike is not considered a motor vehicle. It's considered a bicycle. So there's that.